Hello, my wonderful people. Can you imagine? Tinubu government blaming Goodluck Jonathan government. They are the one that caused hardship in Nigeria. They are blaming Goodluck. They are blaming Buhari. In fact, if you want to support APC, you have to look stupid. If not, you cannot support them. Just listen to this man on Arise News. I wanted to show the video, but I couldn't download it from YouTube, so I decided to use voice record. Please, just listen to how he came to Arise News to be disgracing himself. Just listen to him, guys. Listen to this man.
Of these protests before they escalate into something that could potentially be more politically damaging for the president and the APC party.
Charles, at a point in the life of a country, we need to sit down and tell ourselves the truth. If anybody says to you that Nigeria is not confronting or confronted with or by so many issues, that fellow may not be truthful to himself. We have problems, but the problems of Nigeria didn't start today. I wonder why what we thought was going to end our years of recklessness as a nation. Yeah, for many years, Nigeria has been trying to mitigate against so many upturns in our policy, in our social life. But whether we did those things meticulously, such that can portend a good future for our children, I'm not convinced. So, the reckless of yesterday has haunted us so much today and has become a big problem for us all. Whether you are rich or poor, it doesn't make any difference anymore. But my issue is, the inflation we are experiencing today will come at some point, and it has come. The best thing to do is to confront it and solve the problem. Okay, a couple of young people, in my view, pushed by some other people, have come to say, let us continue to protest without actually galvanizing the aim of that protest. What do they want to achieve? If you say end to bad governance, what do you mean? You want to topple government? What exactly is your aim? Nobody knows. You don't know.
Well, I think the broad strokes of it is end bad governance, but they've articulated specific things that they want done.
Like what, please?
One, for example, is to bring back the subsidy on fuel.
Okay, they told you that.
They said, yeah, they were here yesterday.
Oh, fantastic. So you know them. They now have a face.
They said
very good.
Well, I don't know where you've been. You've probably been hiding in the office where you are, but I think the rest of Nigeria...
I thought they didn't have a face
knows their faces.
Okay, so...
and in fact, the government has arrested some of their people, so they must know who they are.
Okay.
One of them is bringing back the fuel subsidy.
Okay.
There's so many things that they've actually asked for.
And I think they are
some of their people have been arrested. They want them released.
And give 250 minimum wage or something.
Yeah, 250,000 naira minimum wage.
So, okay.
There are several demands.
Let us just discuss. We have enough to discuss. Those two are just too good enough for us to talk about. They said government should bring back fuel subsidy. They said government should do 250,000 minimum wage. I ask you, Charles.
You're asking me.
No, because you are a Nigerian. No. I want to ask you a question, and I'd like you to listen and answer me. Why? We are both Nigerians. We are both adults of almost the same age.
Yeah, but I'm wondering why you're asking me the question.
I'm asking Nigerians.
You're a part of the federal government. You should be talking to the protesters.
Is it feasible for government to pay 250,000 minimum wage? Of course, the Labour Congress had been on this matter for so long. They have resolved with the government that certain amount of money is just not feasible. As a matter of fact, the private sector said categorically they cannot afford to pay. So if the economy cannot absorb a demand, how do they those people, how do they intend to achieve it?
Well, let me attempt to.
Okay, you know there are issues.
Let me attempt to put an answer to that question.
Okay.
Although clearly I don't speak on their behalf. but what I need to, the point they're making is that if the country is going through what the government says it is going through, then there needs to be demonstrable behavioral changes on the part of the government to fit that thing that they're saying to the Nigerian people is happening here. You see what I mean? To fit the optics that they're sending out. The point is that they're saying you can't be buying new aircraft. You can't be building new apartments, new buildings at billions of dollars for the vice president.
Billions of dollars.
Billions of naira.
Okay.
For the vice president. You can't be giving off those kinds of vibes. It's very important the way that you conduct yourself. You have to lead by example. You can't be telling people that you can't afford to do this, but then you go around and for your own officials, you spend a lot of money. They're looking at the National Assembly. They're looking at the presidency. They're looking at the monies that are being expended. And the impression that's being given to them is that they don't matter, but that those other people do.
That is, see, I find anyway, when I looked at them, I see that, quite frankly, they are young people. If you say that because you believe that government is extravagant, that's what I can take from that. And the resultant of that, or what you think should be the solution, is to be on the street and continue to destroy public infrastructure.
No, that's a different thing.
No, I'm coming.
There are a few people who are doing
twice. You have caught me short.
You asked me a question.
As a result of your cutting me short, you are making me forget my point.
Go ahead.
So the issue is...
But don't make allegations that are...
No, it's not about allegations. Yeah. I'm saying that if you say that government is extravagant, that is your point. That is your issue. So the solution to extravagance of government is to be on the streets and be destroying public infrastructure.
No. They're on the streets to exercise their right to protest. There are a few elements within
Charles,
those ranks.
I live in Nigeria. I'm not you. You live in London.
Oh, come on.
I live here.
You see,
so I'm saying to you...
You see, this is the problem I have with you. You always try to find some backdoor way.
I'm saying to you that I know what protests... If anybody tells you he wants to protest in Nigeria, there is no way. Tell me how many protests you have seen that haven't led or that didn't lead to public destruction. So, we know it is just difficult. Let me tell you what happened.
Yeah, but is it the fault of the protesters or the inability
that is why we
of
say
the intelligence agencies and the security agencies to maintain law and order? It is the job of them to protect the protesters and to protect property.
In 2012, a group of patriotic Nigerians came out to protest in Ojota. I was in Ojota. We had a face to that protest. Buhari was in that protest. John Oyegun was in that protest. Bola Tinubu was in that protest. That is a protest that had a meaning. The people protesting are known.
Oh, so
I'm coming. I'm making a point. I am coming. You are always cutting me short.
Go on.
I must make my point. That was a protest that had a face, a genuine intent. And you could hold those protesters accountable for whatever happens by their followers. Okay? That is a kind of protest government should say, okay, fine, go ahead. It is democratically constitutional for you to express your misgivings about bad governance. There's no doubt about it. Things are hard. I mean, everybody knows there's inflation in Nigeria. Even I know, you know. Therefore, we are saying, when they now said, fast forward to 2020, there was something they called NSAS. I was here. And
I was here as well.
NSAS ended in serious catastrophe. If you were in Lagos, you shed tears. I was right. In Lagos at the time, everybody was crying. They were destroying everything, and it didn't have any correlation with police brutality. How does police brutality, will make anybody to go and burn high courts, city hall? about a lot of infrastructure just destroyed. They attempted to break Ikoyi prison. Kiri, what are we talking about? So we know once they say they want to protest, they are just trying to destroy public peace.
That's a very, very unfair generalization.
No, but okay, tell me one protest we have seen that not led to public destruction.
The issue is not.
We are talking statistics and logic. I am asking you, Charles, tell me one protest you know that not led to public destruction. If you tell me 2, I'll tell you 5 that have led to public destruction. So therefore, in view of the fact that we know that there's going to be public destruction of infrastructure, it is better to say, come in a conference format, express yourself, say what you want, put your points across, let us sit down and discuss, deliberate and dialogue. After destruction, there will be dialogue. Even those who went to war and they killed themselves, look at what happened in Rwanda. Didn't they negotiate at the end of the day? Well, whether war, whether discussion,
I think you made the point, okay?
So therefore, I am saying to these young people, if you know that you cannot be accountable for whatever happens from the action you precipitate, you better think twice.
Right. Well, there are 2 sides to that story. You made an allegation against them. They made an allegation against the government. They say that the government infiltrates their ranks and plants people in there to cause some kind of destruction. Hold on, it's not a matter of belief.
Okay.
It's about hold on, you're interrupting me now. We're not in a court of law.
Well, I am your guest. I'm the one that is supposed to be speaking. You're not supposed to ask me questions.
Well, but you asked me a question, and therefore I'm answering you. So you want to ask? Is it a rhetorical?
Okay. Now I am Arise TV. You are Otumba Ajiboye.
Is it a rhetorical question which answers itself? Because if it is, I won't speak, and you can speak on.
No, go ahead, please, Charles.
The point is that they have a right to be heard.
Correct.
Okay,
I agree.
That's number 1.
Number
2, they allege that their demonstrations are broadly peaceful, that they are infiltrated by people who are planted there to cause mayhem. The point I think we need to focus on is not, you did say at the outset that you didn't want this to be combative.
No.
Yeah. So you wanted to have a discussion. But when you're throwing these kinds of allegations against them, that's not going to ameliorate their tempers. Let me just make this point and then you can continue.
Okay, please go ahead.
Because you might have won the election, or as some would see it, you said you won the election.
No, you don't say all of that.
Hold on.
You won the election, you went to court, you lost in court.
Not me.
So then why do you say we claim to win the election?
I am simply being journalistic.
No, don't be journalistic. But
do you agree?
Yeah.
Do you agree that you may have won the election?
We won the election.
Hold on.
Won the election squarely.
Let me make the point.
But choose the right words and language.
Can I make the point?
You will make the point if you say it properly.
You might have won the election.
We won the election.
No, let me finish the
Please,
sentence.
go ahead.
It's an incomplete sentence.
Okay, go ahead.
When you hear the rest of it, then you can assess what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. You might have won the election, but you now appear to be losing the race for the hearts and minds of the Nigerian people by the style of governance that the president and your party has chosen to adopt, and the way that he and his administration, of which you are a part, come across to the Nigerian people. Would you agree to that?
Charles, please be fair. Be fair for once.
What do you mean for once? We're always fair.
You need to be fair, and I'll tell you what's going on. This is a country we all know very well. I was born here 61 years ago. I know this country like the back of my hand. Nobody can tell me any story about Nigeria. Look, anybody coming to sit before you to say that government planted people, it's not adding up. You want to go and attack a man in his house, and you are saying that he already has people to attack him so that they will claim that you are the ones that attacked him. How logical does that sound? See.
Well, there are a lot of illogical things in this country.
Let's be very honest. And you say again that the Nigerian people are against us. I don't understand.
No, I didn't say it.
No, you
What I
insinuated. I
said
summed up what
was that you appear to be losing the race for the hearts and minds of the people.
What is
when
that?
we started this discussion,
You know you are an Englishman.
when we started this discussion, you're quite a guy, aren't you? When we started this discussion, you were very clear at the beginning that the Nigerian people have the justifiable right to be angry
but
and hurt.
The mode of expression makes a lot of difference.
Okay, let's change the style of discussion. Let's change let's put it the foot on the shoe on the other foot. How do you think the Tinubu administration, of which you are a part, can and should vector the anger and the disappointment of the Nigerian people?
I'm being very honest with you. I have children as grown as them. I have empathy. I can understand what they are going through.
Where are your children? Are they all going?
Oh, my children are here.
Are they all going to school in Nigeria?
Oh, yeah.
All of them?
All of them. The one that went abroad had come back about 5 years ago.
Okay, so some of them went abroad.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay.
They're here. My
But
children
go on, please.
But my point is simple. Bola Tinubu is a passionate leader. Anybody who knows him will know how passionate he is about this country and how well this country should be governed. I have related with him and I can vouch for his commitment to good governance. Now, this is a man who just came to power 1 year, 3 months. This is a man, see, Nigeria was already on his knees as at 2023 when we came. 97%. I am coming. No. Let me make my point. 97% of our revenue.
But it's the same party, isn't it?
Let me make my point.
But it is the same party.
97% of our revenue was used to service debts.
By your party.
I'm coming now. Whatever you say, 2015 was not the beginning of Nigeria. Your party was in power in 2015. No, everybody. Look, I have told you that you can't tell me the story of Nigeria. I know the story of Nigeria, and I know where everybody belongs.
Yeah, but I would urge you to be circumspect in the way that you make your allegations.
Okay, so you don't have a party, no problem.
Clearly not.
Nigeria didn't start in 2015. The party that ruled Nigeria before 2015 had its own mess. Whatever you say, however you look at it, Bola Tinubu inherited a government that was using 97% of its revenue to service debts.
But you concede that that is an APC government.
Why do you keep saying that?
But it is an APC government.
Okay, if I say it's APC government, what problem will it solve in this discussion?
No.
If I say it's not APC government, how will it solve?
Yeah,
so let's make my point.
Put things in context. Go on,
you
please.
know the party that ruled Nigeria.
Go on, please.
So therefore, I'm saying 97% of our revenue, of Nigeria's revenue, was used to service debts. Now, fuel was subsidized, petroleum subsidy, electricity was subsidized, naira against dollar, foreign exchange subsidized. We were meant to do 2 million barrels of crude, OPEC to OPEC. We were doing a portion of 700 barrels per barrels. 700,000.
And that was your party, the APC.
Wait, now, due to oil theft in the Niger Delta, due to oil theft.
Which you couldn't manage,
So,
your party.
Therefore, 2023, we came to power with this kind of rot on the table. We couldn't move forward.
You mean you continued
we couldn't move forward from this
in
point.
power?
You understand?
Your party
we couldn't
continued
move forward
in
from
power.
this point.
But
and the point
you
remains that
continued in
you
power.
will not allow us to make a very good discussion if you keep to truncate my thoughts.
But you continue.
No,
in
you
power.
don't do that. Let me finish my thought
Go
process.
on.
Let it go well. Then when I deliver, you can ask questions and I'll answer.
Go on.
Therefore, so Bola Tinubu came in 2023 with all these things on the table. Nigeria doesn't even have enough revenue to meet up with its obligations. Now, the previous government did not provide for fuel subsidy for June 2023, for instance. So that Bola Tinubu says fuel subsidy is gone did not mean he wasn't in power. He couldn't have removed fuel subsidy the first day in Eagle Square. Therefore, Fuel subsidy was no longer there as at the time we took over, or Bola Tinubu took over. Therefore, anybody saying that he removed fuel subsidy is just ignorant. My point is, with all this plethora of problems, there must be a way out. The way out is that we need to tighten our belts. Nigeria was going down, sinking 2,500 feet below sea level. Now, if a surgical operation is not done immediately, whether they protest or they don't protest, naturally Nigeria will fizzle out. So, for Nigeria not to fizzle out, somebody says, let me take the bull by the horn. Let us find a way to salvage this country. On one part, genuinely. There are other people, election losers, this, that feel no, we will make this country ungovernable for this man. They are orchestrating, calling people to be protesting here and there. So they started the protests. If that protest can be curtailed, they gave them MK Abiola Stadium. Protest here. Say whatever you want to say here. How did we get to public destruction? That public destruction part of it has removed every good thing about that protest. So, I will advise, let them put up a conference. A conference is even more methodical than street protest, because the conference will have adequate media coverage and the deaf will hear.
Well, let's just be clear on a number
so
of things.
Therefore,
You've made your point.
Yes.
Yeah, we're fast running out of time.
The protest on the street is not good for this economy.
Okay, well, number one, you concede that the economy is in serious trouble.
Oh, yes.
Right, okay, and that people are hurting badly as a result.
Oh, yes, so we need to be encouraged to be able to put the right things on the table.
And that they have the right to express that hurt by way of protest.
I agree with that.
And that the bigger those protests are, the more the message of their anger and their disappointment towards the Tinubu government is likely to hit home. Those are facts that you've conceded to. The other point, of course, is that with all due respect to you, and a lot of people listening will concede that you are pretty much an echo chamber. And an echo chamber simply means that you're clearly partisan, and people know that politically you belong to the Tinubu camp and the APC. And therefore, public trust in some of what you say is quite likely to be low.
Everything I've said can be verified. That I belong to APC does not mean I don't have a right to speak. That I belong to APC or this government does not mean I'm not seeing what is going on. Don't I have children in school?
You have a right to speak.
Don't I have children in school? Don't I buy things? Don't I know that a basket of pepper is expensive, or tomatoes? Don't I know when inflation is hitting a country that I live in? That's not an issue. The issue is everything I've said is a statement of fact. So I haven't even said that those people don't have a right to protest. Yeah, they obviously have a right to protest. But the Nigerian state has a right to protect the citizens of Nigeria. At the point that you protest and you disturb other people's right to movement, free movement, you're already hampering their own fundamental rights.
Let's leave the issue of protest for a minute. Okay. Do you concede that this government is responsible for tanking the economy to the point where it is right now by the two policies that you took at the same time, which have had a tremendously debilitating effect on the Nigerian economy and the people? Do you concede that?
Are you saying to me, Charles, that if they hadn't removed fuel subsidy and tried to find a balance for Naira against the dollar, we will not have inflation? Is that what you're saying? Of course not. Whether they did what they did at the time this government came in or not, it would have even been worse now. And I'll tell you why. There was no way we could have continued with the fuel subsidy. We just do not have the resources to continue.
Well, the fuel subsidy is back in some ways.
I don't know the ways, but I am saying that fuel subsidy was removed, and as a result of which, it caused inflation. I agree. Now, Nigeria does not have enough resources to subsidize most of the things we are subsidizing. The truth remains that we have a lifestyle in this country that is so expensive that we can't even match up with our resources. We spend so much money on human air. I hope you know that. So much, billions of dollars a year. Women here. So much on alcohol, beverages. so much money. We need to recalibrate Nigeria. Our style of living as a people need to change. How do I mean? It's very simple. What are the things we import that cannot be made in this country? None. None. Are you saying that, see, my agency is a cultural agency, it's about culture. And because we see that the problem is getting seriously painful for people, we say, okay, let us start a cultural technology department. What will it do? Look at everything we use, Let us look, see, the Chinese people made so much impact with bamboo, ordinary bamboo. We have a lot of natural resources. All we need to do is to put our heads down, think properly, and be able to turn most of these things into domestic, manufacture. We can manufacture most of the things we spend a lot of dollars on in this country.
Okay.
This is the place we should go. This is where we should be. All of those boys, young boys on the street protesting should come and attend to issues, begin to make things. China closed their borders for 30 years. And they produced what they were eating. For 30 years, they closed their borders because it was getting to a point where if they did not look inward, they would collapse. China today is one of the greatest nations of the world. We can do the same in Nigeria. We need to be determined. And if we are determined, this is exactly the kind of lesson Bola Tinubu is putting across to all of us.
Well, on that note, I want to thank you very much.
Too short. Why? Anytime I come here, I just talk 5 minutes. You say I should go. Why?
Otumba Biodun Ajiboye, it's always very, very interesting talking with you. He is, of course,
I think I entertain you
he
more
is, of course, an APC chieftain, and he's the executive secretary and CEO of the National Institute for Cultural Orientation. Thank you very much,
brother.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you, my brother.